Hello, this is the storytelling event where we are required to go to 3 live events with public speakers, and it's for public speaking or my public speaking class. So let's begin. So the first night, or my first event was called The Best Night Ever, and it was at the Lincoln Lodge, and it was right there on Milwaukee and Armitage. The event was supposed to be from around 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., but sometimes it ran a little long, so I'd like to say it went to like 9:30. To begin, I've gone to a comedy show before and I've seen a bunch of comedy shows. So I kind of had an idea what to expect, but at the same time I didn't because I was a lot younger when I had went. My uncles would take me all the time, and then on Netflix and YouTube you see a bunch of clips all the time. But I was really excited, especially going with a big group of friends, especially people in our class. If I name drop, Kevin, Michelle, Diamond, Yesenia, Kobe. And I felt like that really added to it because you're having a good time with people, and that's what it's all about. But the vibe of the whole night was really interesting. It's right there on Milwaukee, so it's like it's already at an angle compared to Armitage, and so from the side view, it doesn't seem like a very big venue. But as soon as you walk in, you're like, oh well, you go right to the right, there's a bar right there. There's a little long hallway to get to the bathroom, and there's like a bunch more like back rooms for like other events that are happening there. So you're like, oh, this is bigger than what I anticipated. And so that was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of cool because I'm just like, oh shit, there's more to it than what you're led to believe. But that first speaker, dude was hilarious. He was an African American male, and his job to me was really to break the ice. Like he was there to break the ice. Like he was gonna set the tone, let everybody loosen up. That this show is literally gonna talk about anything and everything, and hopefully we don't get uncomfortable. And if we do, then it's kind of like it's okay, or at least in there it's okay. And so that's exactly what he did. He was talking about his dating life and how dude was hilarious. He was talking about his dating life and how it sucks and how every time he finally gets to be with somebody, he's like, yes, score, but like then he ruins it for himself because, well, he does it not within his head, not within his thoughts. He does it out loud and out, literally in front of the girl. Or what else did he mention? He also mentioned being part of how he's like currently looking for a job and that that racism isn't as an important issue to him as unemployment is, which was an insane statement to say, but obviously, we're breaking the ice to begin the show. But he did a great job. I thought he did phenomenal. I forgot his name, and I wish I had written it down. But he was perfect. His main goal, besides being the one that opened the show and break the ice, he was pretty much our host. He was introducing every single artist, every single comic that came out, telling everyone to give them a warm welcome and then give them a round of applause on their way out. But from what I got from the other comics were a lot of them. Some actually just came out firing. Like they didn't. Obviously, they do the cliche. How are we doing tonight? But they're all very different. Some are very they use their body a lot. Others are very like right here and quiet. They have the mic, some are very intimate with the mic. Others kind of just let it stay on the stand and they move around it. And same a lot. But some use notes, some didn't. But their speaking styles were very different, and that's what I kind of liked because I was kind of afraid that they're all going to be not necessarily the same, but in retrospect be similar especially because how comedy is now, it's about a bunch of crowd work and it's not necessarily about storytelling and things that they're doing within. They don't have their own act where it's they're just asking people questions, and so it was kind of nice that they had things prepared for themselves and they're gonna make us laugh one way or the other. But I'm trying to think of something that stood out like completely. Oh my god, when I tell you, so this dude was like joking about like, oh, he was very like lackadaisical, and he literally talked about what if a comedy was performed as a musical, and obviously we're all like, okay, right, we're in the stands, we're like, okay, and he literally like in the middle of his set, like it was like a regular set, he like got a thought, and it was like any Disney movie, he got a thought, You gotta thought like this with the mic. And he looked up in the corner, and like every Disney princess or prince, he starts thinking to himself. He's like, what if? And he's literally started singing, and it was just he brought his pet, like, and we talk about that in class all the time. But he brought that theatric because I wasn't expecting that. I don't think any of us were expecting that. I think it was just like kind of like something that he just threw out there for us to like kind of laugh at, and so he actually did it, and that was hilarious. That was cool. Others talked about, I mean, they all talk about where they're from and what's going on, things of that nature. But yeah, overall, the Lincoln Lodge was great. I kind of was rambling at the end, but the timing, the way things were going, they did a great job. Delivery, tone, positive. Honestly, I don't think any of them missed. And if they did miss, it was kind of like it was really on topics that are kind of sensitive. Whether that be with the LGBTQ or honestly racism, and those are kind of like they can be very sensitive topics, especially with people that you don't know, especially with a group of people that you don't know. But the room was very small, it was very intimate, and I had no problem with anything they were saying, especially because at the end of the day, they're here to make us laugh, and they don't mean it in any derogatory way. Hello, so this is my part 2 to the storytelling assignment, where we're required to go to 3 live events. So here we go. The second live event was Tuesday Musical Improv. It was right there at the Annoyance Theater and Bar on Belmont and Clark. It was obviously on Tuesday. It was April 1st, and the show was supposed to run from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And oh my, this show was amazing. I have a lot to say, but it's musical improv, so I was really excited. I know that a lot goes into a musical production, and so I'm in the right off the top of my head, I'm like, there's no way that they can make things on the spot and make it work, especially when it's like, I know there's a lot behind the scenes and a lot like thought that has to go within it, and you have performers that are practicing and practicing and practicing to make this an amazing event. And when we got there, dude, so there's 2 different groups. There's 2 groups, and the first group asked the crowd, because they were going first, right? It was like as if it was like a class, like we're in class and we had like different, like a Saturday, Sunday when you split up the class. And so the first group had asked the crowd, can you think of a story? Like, just tell me any story, like any regular story. So it'd be like a toy story or like a bar story, like things of that nature. And so somebody yelled out a frog story. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, who? A frog story? And I had gone with Kevin, homie Kevin. And I had looked at him. I was like, a frog story? You're like, there's no way they can make it. Make something out of a frog story. Like, what do you even think of, right? Until, wow, like, actually, it's pretty simple. You can make a bunch of things out of it. And so they had a bunch of stories revolving around a town and magic, and obviously they're singing. But watching the performance, you can see instances where it's like, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or they're generally like looking at the other performer like for like a cue to be like, okay, let me add on to it, because they would sing honestly about anything. There was a B plot where the daughter of the witch took the most massive shit that it flooded the town. And they sang a song about it. They're like, my best friend, like my best friend has the massive shit. Like it was insane. But it was hilarious. It was hilarious. And so, but going on to the second one, it was kind of similar, and it was like they initially asked the crowd, they asked the crowd a question, and then they make something out of that. And so they had asked, what is something you guys do like during the summer, I believe, or like a camp that you guys have gone to? And, you're assuming like summer camp and things of that nature, until somebody in the crowd yelled, they went to Swedish camp. And again, I looked at Kevin, I'm like, Swedish camp? Like, that's a thing? And they explained themselves, and they're like, all right. And they ran with it. And I'm in my head, I'm like, there's no way they can come up with something about Swedish camp. And they had the funniest things, fun, yon, and that's like stuck in my head, where they're like, would you like a sample of a meatball and a Swedish fish? And like it was like, it was about about an American going to Sweden, and how he left home and left America because his life is overwhelming, and he went to Sweden and he's trying to enjoy the people there, and so they trying to assimilate him into the Swedish life where they're like, he's like, no, my name is John. They're like, Jon. They're like, no, you are Jon, and he's freaking out and he wants to go home, and that his parents have a fling with this buff Swedish dude, where without that third person, their marriage is falling apart. And so it was hilarious. But something I do want to say about the musical improv was, I don't know if I was thinking too much into it. It was a great showing. It was fun. It was different. I wasn't expecting any of it. My thing was, I was like, there's no, like, I was still in like, I was still doubting it. I'm like, there's literally no way that they made this great production, which honestly was a great production. The laughs, the songs, they had so much rhythm, where it was as if they've made this before, and like it's in the back of their head. Like, there's no way that they made this on the spot. And so I'm thinking to myself, and I told him, I'm like, what if like the whole time this it's presented as improv, but they have people in the audience that they pick out to say something random, but it's not random because they've made it. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but that's what I was thinking, because I'm like, dude, this is awesome. And so I'm glad that the production was just so perfect and so great. And honestly, I excuse me. Honestly, had it not been for this assignment, I wouldn't have discovered something awesome and hilarious, and I would for sure 1,000 times do it again. I would go again. I'd go with a random group of friends on a Tuesday night to go see an improv comedy musical, and it's gonna stick with me. Jon, Sven, would you like a Swedish fish? Let me got that. This is part 3 to the storytelling assignment. We're required to go to 3 live events with public speakers for my public speaking class. This was an open mic night, I believe, or it was open mic, open stage. My fault. Correction. Open stage at also the Annoyance Theater, right there on Belmont and Clark, and it was also on Tuesday, April 1st. It was right after my little musical improv that I had gone to. And that was from 9:30 to around 10:30. It ran about an hour. And, well, to go right into it after obviously seeing the musical improv, it was initially like I was curious. I was wondering what these people are going to bring and provide and perform for us. It wasn't, it's not like, I don't know how to put it into words. It slipped out. But it feels different, especially when it's like you see the people inside like the lounge area signing up for it. So it's like I don't even believe that the people hosting it know what things are going to be said and what's going to come out and things of that nature. And so it's kind of like they're just as invested and interested in watching as we are, where it's like they're kind of excited, but also like they don't know what to expect. And the speakers, a lot of them were like, it was all over the place because it's obviously open stage. It was literally all over the place. Some notable ones were a female with she wanted to show the crowd. She asked the crowd. She's like, "Can I show you guys my alter ego, my rapper persona?" And she literally starts rapping, and she starts rapping with a beat. And the story put behind her song was about a family friend, I think her dad's friend, that she grew up with that was hitting on her, especially now that she's older. And obviously you're like, okay, that's kind of weird, kind of creepy, like in retrospect, like if you remove yourself from it. But it was hilarious, like the way she was singing about it and everything. She was on cue, like she it was a great performance. Like it damn near ran like 3 or 4 minutes. It was insane. Like it was like a full on song, and like she didn't even like look at her phone necessarily or her notes. She was really just going with it. Like she knew it like inside and out. And I'm assuming because I'd assume she lived it. Another notable one was, dude, this guy. So some people are very considerate about the crowd and how their volume. Their volume. We're gonna tie this into volume with class too. Um, Dude was just loud. Like he was loud where it was like just talking. If he was talking to you and I, he was screaming at the top of his lungs, damn near. And it's like, it's like you're listening to all these people, you're having a good time, and then out of left field, this dude is just like really loud in the mic, and the speakers are really loud. And sorry, a little transition change, a little switch. We're now in my kitchen. But like I was saying, like that speaker, especially at that open stage, he was very loud, and it kind of threw me off because it was everyone else was very like their volume, their coming from diaphragm, but their volume was pretty was pretty good. Got across, it filled the room, but it wasn't too much until that speaker came, and it's sometimes I don't know if it happens to other people, but especially for me, personally for me, it was in the essence that it kind of removed it took me out of it removed me out of the being open-minded and which I think it sounds terrible, but being open-minded and being considerate and enjoying with the night, but at the same time it's like, oh, you can't let one bad performance ruin your night. But it was just like, it was late, I had a long day, I was up early super early, and it's kind of the last thing that you'd want is someone yelling in your ear, especially with the speakers all connected at the same time. And it was like it was like one of those weird, crazy, frantic laughs that he'd have. But then also it was like everything. I mean, when you look back at it, like his skit was kind of funny. He was like talking about drawing and this and that, but it somehow all led to boobs. Like everything that he wrote and the crowd interaction, like it led to boobs. It led to BOOBS, whether that be with numbers. Like if he was like, all right, he's like, can you take my phone number real quick just so I could, like things like that, where he's like 80085 and then said a bunch of other numbers, and then he grabbed the whiteboard back and he circled. He's like, and ladies and gentlemen, we got right back to boobs. Like it was funny. It was just like, dude, it was too loud for me. And that kind of ruined it for me. But other than that, I mean, the rest of the night was great. The way I tied it into, I would tie it into class is, man, I already used pet like twice, but yes, it's fucking, people are passionate about what they're doing, and they'll show, and they're not half-assing it. They're going all out, and they're not monotone. They're not robot. They're not Terminator P-Rob. No diss, love P-Rob. He's a great guy, but you can definitely tell when they brought their pet, especially even the last guy that was really loud. But besides that, I'd really enjoyed the open stage and just the whole idea of it, that they're allowing people to practice, and even if someone did mess up, which we do all the time in class, they were very supportive, and they were very like they're just very welcoming, and that was awesome. And that kind of is going to lead me into this last part of my story. Speaking about class and the semester, I don't even know where to start, because we kind of had that little, especially today. So we had class today, and we had to talk about a story from class, a personal story. And the personal story from class was that, initially it's like you kind of have an idea of what's going on with this class. It's public speaking. So you're assuming I have to talk. I have to talk at one point or another, and that's exactly what we did. But it wasn't what you expect. You're expecting formalities, podiums, speeches, essays. None of that. Well, besides speeches, but it had everything. It was just awesome. It was amazing, and honestly, this semester was great. This class is great, and like from a personal standpoint, it's like, dude, it's like I look forward to like the last couple of semesters. Like I was dreading going to my 1240 class. This is a 1240 class that I love, and I'm always excited to go to, even if I have to present first or last for a speech, like a speech assignment. But it's fun. It's great. Everyone's goofy and wacky in their own little way. Even Nikki, even you, Nikki. It's refreshing. It's different. It brings life to campus. You know, it brings life to just life. I mean, it brings juice. You bring the juice, meaning that, like, you know, bring energy. But like, I can go on and on about class. The we're very the whole class was very welcoming, and even for people that were struggling, you know, giving speeches and being emotional and giving more and doing more, and especially with speaking, like if, you know, obviously, because we have a couple students in our class that English isn't their first language, that we were just we weren't assholes to them. We weren't. I mean, obviously, we give criticism, right? But it's constructive feedback. It's constructive. It's not to break them down. It's not to make them feel like shit and make them feel terrible. It's to build them up, so that way when they deliver their next speech, you know, we're learning. This is all about learning. And from what you learn from the next speech, you apply to the one after, or well, what you learn from one speech, you apply to that one after, and so on and so forth, to where we are now with our final speech. And so it's just, I really appreciate the class. I really appreciate the people here. My 4 years here, I'm not in my 4th year, but I'm saying, like, once I'm done with my 4 years here at North Park, this is a class that's gonna stick with me, and there's no way I can forget having to dance and then sing and do the silent comedies, and making a pet out of what is it, the toilet paper rolls, like the cardboard ones, and just, you know, being myself, and that's what it's all about. It's being yourself. You're not too cool for school. It has nothing to do with that. If you're nervous, everyone's nervous. It's about being human. It's okay to be nervous. But I'm thankful for the class. I'm thankful for allowing me to just be me, and just have a good time doing it. What else could I add to that? I never thought I was a good speaker, especially because I don't like speaking in a way. I don't talk to random people. Well, I do, because of my job. Like, I have to communicate with people. I have to talk to them, be like, hey, how you doing, boss? Have a nice day. This weather is crazy. Small talk. But I never, you know, you really got to put yourself out there, and this is great. And this class is just awesome and amazing, and I can't believe it's almost over. Like, that's the part that's, like, messing with my head, that there's no way it's almost over. Like, I feel like this should go on forever, kind of thing. Like, if it could go on forever, I wish it did, because it's just like, I'm always excited. I'm always looking forward to my Tuesdays and Thursdays, and what Nikki's gonna have us do today, because it's never the same thing. It's always different, or it's always different. Some things might be very similar, but it's always different. It's always something new, and it's always something that's gonna help us. It's gonna help us. Everything we do is gonna help us for our speeches, and eventually, once we move on, you know, from this class. And but yeah, I'm thankful for the class. I'm thankful for signing up for it. I'm thankful for my buddy Kevin. I'm thankful for everyone in that class. Everyone bringing their own fun, wacky selves. Christian, Kobe, Manny with his colognes. Man, it's just, you know, and then especially, like, it's just the beauty of it all. You've seen people like that are very reserved and can't talk, and then they're just, you know, they're finally, like, opening up, and it's awesome. It's great. I'm kind of rambling. I'm sorry, but yeah, and that's what it is, and thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm forever thankful, forever grateful, and I will apply breathing, pauses, speaking with my diaphragm, not just with my head, and utilizing the room to the best of my ability if I need to provide a speech, either to players, people, friends and family, weddings, or whatever the shindig is, you know. I will always remember my 12:40 to 2:20 p.m. class on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the spring of 2025, my sophomore year at North Park. Thank you.